More than 70% of the people in India live in villages. Urbanization and modernization have caught up with the villages, and most now paint a different picture. But there remain innumerable villages in the heart of India, still untouched by urbanization. A large number of central India's rural populace live on traditional livelihood. For these people, the primary source of livelihood is forest produce, agriculture and livestock, and most of these are in transition. Since time immemorial, livestock rearing has been a tradition amongst the tribes of India. Almost all families in tribal villages in central India own and rear poultry in their homes. Traditional backyard poultry is an integral part of their lives. They keep poultry for meat and occasionally consume eggs. Each family owns at least 2 indigenous hens. Some families own up to 4 hens. Women folk do most of the work in poultry from the comforts of their own home without having to step out of their household. Maintenance of the fowl raised in the backyard is not a problem. These chickens feed on insects, worms and grains in the backyard of the house. The women spend some time on the poultry. All they have to do is to provide a place of shelter for the fowl at night and release them in the morning to scavenge their food requirements. Women feed them with rice bran or food grains. These indigenous hens lay eggs 3 times a year. Indigenous poultry lay 10 to 20 eggs in a single clutch, and 95% of them hatch into chicks. Usually, summers are not considered favorable for hatching of eggs. Birds also lay less number of eggs during summer. The period between October to March is considered as the best time for hatching. The women folk collect the eggs and place them all in a nest for hatching. The tribal women take special care for preparation of a warm nest for the eggs by placing straw on a bamboo box or broken earthen pot. The eggs are placed in this nest and the mother hen incubates the eggs for a period of 21 days by sitting on them to provide the right temperature for the chicks to hatch. This is the traditional method followed for hatching of chicks by most of the tribes. The nest is placed at higher level to keep the eggs safe and away from rats and other potential threats. The brooding mother hen leaves the nest 3 to 4 times during the entire incubation period to feed herself. Sometimes the tribal women feed the hens food grains with their own hands. When the chicks hatch, they make screeching noises. This is how the women come to know of the hatching of chicks. They then help the chicks to come out of the shells if required and put the nest with the chicks and the mother hen at a safe place inside the house to keep them warm. In the first week after hatching, the chicks are fed with finely ground rice and given clean water to drink. The mother hen keeps guard of her chicks at all times with a protective instinct. She protects the chicks from adult poultry and other potential threats. She teaches them to catch worms and insects to feed on. A mother hen, along with her brood of tiny chicks, freely roaming around the lanes is an usual sight in tribal villages. In about 3 months' time, sometimes even earlier, the mother hen starts to lay eggs for the next clutch. Backyard poultry is a family affair for these people. The entire family, especially the children and the women, participate in the day-to-day affairs of poultry rearing. She is Baidi Khatia of Patraput village in Odisha. Baidi and her entire family are engaged in backyard poultry. This is not a new thing for them. The tradition of poultry keeping in the backyard has been in their family since the time of their ancestors.
बोल लागे छी नै जे कुकुडा पहुँचल तो सार दाम के बोल तांग देखले सरी खाद्य दिन सुतेल बोल खारी कुकुडा बडाइले आमगी मारी कर खाइबा खाल आमगे लोभ लागे छी आज्ञा बडाइबु चंती
Dutika Mathapadia is in her 50s. She lives in Nuagoda village of Koraput. She is rearing poultry since her childhood. Dutika and thousands of women like her not just earn a living from backyard poultry, it is an additional source of income to them. On an average, they earn up to Rs 2,400 to Rs 3,000 from hatching of eggs from one hen per year under normal conditions for sale of indigenous poultry.
So ye 200 bade bade wale 300 lakha gotla ganja gali bandla wale 300 lakha ka biku bade bade ganja badai buari.
The indigenous poultry reared by these tribals are in great demand in the urban markets as well as within their habitats, as they are considered to be tastier than broiler chicken. This makes backyard poultry a profitable option. The extra male chicks are always sold in the marketplace, but the female chicks are retained for further breeding. The tribal marketplaces of Odisha are an interesting sight to behold. Amidst various types of tribal goods such as clothes, vegetables, food items and jungle products, indigenous poultry are also displayed as a commodity. The tribals sell poultry to the local poultry dealers who in turn sell it in towns. It has a niche market. Poultry birds of different plumage colors and varying types are raised by the tribal families for different purposes. For instance, black poultry with black skin is in great demand by the villagers as it is used to satisfy the rituals. Some other poultry birds, such as the naked neck and the fizzle-feathered poultry, are used for different religious purposes. tribal family requires about 15 to 18 poultry in a year for various religious rituals, 10 to 15 poultry for food in feasts and to appease guests, and about 10 to 15 poultry for business purposes.
आमे चाष करूचु चाष पाई खाद्य मिडुची किंतु पैसा मिडुनी एले आमे गुटे पटे खाद्य मिडुची सिना लुगा किणवा को होनी ए सब लुगा जाको तेन कर सेटा बिकिबु तापरे बिकी कि आमे सेटा ये करबो कोन गुटे छोटो मोटो खन्ना कोन सब किणी कि आमे व्यवहार करबो
कुकुड़ा अछि का को उधर पैसा मांगो दरकार नै एला हम दरकार पड़ला इमरजेंसी 100 200 टका हम नियाती दरकार बाजार गुनी बस दुईटा तीनटा बिकी देलु बस पुणी पळाइलु हम बारे पैसा मांगो दरकार नै सेटा गोटे साहाय्य हमको पड़ला कि नै से अनुसार हम कुकुड़ा जाको पोसवा को बाध्य
The tribal families with a long-standing experience in livestock and poultry farming have gained substantial knowledge on poultry. They have their own indigenous ways of treating problems related to poultry. They have an indigenous method to separate the good eggs from the bad ones. They simply dip the eggs in water, and the ones that sink to the bottom are the good eggs. They predict the sex of a chick to be hatched by seeing the shape of the eggs and its size. The pointed eggs are said to be males, and the rounded ones are females. In order to induce early laying of eggs, a feather is attached to the nostrils of a brooding hen and they are repeatedly dipped in water. These tribes use different herbs, turmeric, rice, neem leaves and oils to treat diseases of the fowl. The tribal families are often faced with setbacks that affect their livelihood. They depend on backyard poultry not only for money but also for religious and traditional purposes. Diseases, predators and thefts are the three major problems of backyard poultry farming. Ranicate disease or Newcastle disease, also known as Kukuda Marudi, is the deadliest. This disease kills more than 80% of the poultry in villages. It is caused by a deadly virus and is highly infectious and continues to strike poultry year after year. Foulpox is another deadly disease of the chicks caused by a virus. The predators are a constant threat to the birds. To avoid this threat, villagers adopt various protective measures. Sometimes they keep the poultry inside the house or on the roof. Tiny strong rooms are built on the ground and bamboo boxes are used to house the poultry. Of late, these tribals are getting help from non-profit organizations and animal husbandry department of state governments. This has come as a breath of fresh air for backyard poultry farming. Government animal husbandry departments and NGOs through SHGs are providing training to these villagers on vaccination and poultry farming to provide fresh impetus to this age-old practice. Any one literate man or woman was nominated from each village to undergo a short training in vaccination and poultry farming. The chosen trainees are then imparted training in poultry vaccination techniques for a period of 3 to 4 days, which is followed by veterinary first aid training of 4 days. All trainees then work in a small-scale broiler farm for 3 to 4 days to make them familiar with new age poultry farming. They are also trained in entrepreneurship and business planning to increase their monetary benefits. After finishing their training, these trainees work as community link workers and vaccinate poultry in villages to control diseases. Shashi, belonging to the Saura tribe from Kurlundagoda village in Parlakimundi, has been practicing backyard poultry for years. He is also aware of the indigenous methods to treat the chicken. Shashi has successfully completed his training in vaccination and is presently working as a community link worker.
मुरुडी रोग गोटे अच्छी तापर गुमा रोग कहते तापर बसंत बोली कहते से ऊपर आमको ट्रेनिंग देइछंती कि औषध दिया हबो तापर से दुकान रो किमिति अणा जीवो सेटा बरफ द्वारा आणबार अच्छी तापर से फ्रिज मशीन गोटे छोटो कौन कहते सेटा मु जाननी सेटा भी देइछंती तायरे पूरा बरफ पका जीवो तापर औषध पकाई देकी सेटा धरी के आणुछु.
Kamal Lochin Bhumia, one such community link worker from Koraput village, has made a device to facilitate backyard poultry. This device is made up of wires and is placed over the feed. When this device is used, only the chicks get access to the feed. By this method, the chicks grow up fast and get healthy too.
खाली चाषबास ये करवा बोले अब ना कुकुड़ा मिसा हमको बेसी साहाଯ୍य करुच्ची हमरो सब से पुअर नारे गोटे छाड़देबू बापार नारे छाड़देबू एमती करी बड़ाई 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 से कुकुड़ा हम लाभ पाउछु बोला.
The concept of backyard poultry farming is changing fast, but only for the better. Various self-help groups and banks have started attractive schemes to give loans. It is helping the business of poultry farming. Women's role in backyard poultry farming is laudable. With support from self-help groups and banks, more and more women are now being encouraged to involve themselves in etching out a livelihood for themselves and their families. A classic example of this is Ma Durga Self-Help Group in the Gopalput village, which has 17 members. These women have successfully been engaged in backyard poultry and are providing inspiration to thousands of other women to take up backyard poultry. Traditional backyard poultry is gradually emerging in a new improved form with government support, training from NGOs and support from self-help groups. It is an excellent known entry point to support rural women entrepreneurship and food security. It could be a vehicle to to develop the livelihood of the poor tribals and provide them with a fresh lease of life and hope for a better future.